Hello everybody! Kumusta? Mabuhay, magandang gabi, and maligayang pagbabalik sa akin channel. Ako po si Ovela. I am your host Ovela, and the very famous CATRIONA GRAY, who is half Filipina, half Australian, and who also was Miss Universe 2018, if I'm not mistaken, released a brand new video on her channel, let's just say a political video. That's what you guys told me, and she called it Pinuno para sa Bayan, which apparently means leader for the people. There you go. So what you guys told me is that she's giving her opinion and stance on the politics in the Philippines, and you guys asked me to react to it. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do today. It's a win-win because it's interesting what's going on in the Philippines right now because of the elections 2022, and also because, you know, I don't really mind staring at CATRIONA GRAY because she is gorgeous. So yeah. Alright, but before we start, make sure to follow me on Instagram at Music Game News, because that is where you can DM me your suggestions. And without further ado, let's get to it. That hair is just perfect. Oh yeah, and I'm also reacting to it because clearly it's going to be in English, because I've always never heard her speak in Tagalog. I mean, I have, but she does prefer to speak in English.
Hi Philippines. I usually shy away from the topic of politics.
Very nice. It is translated into Filipino down there, so there you go.
But since becoming an adult, a taxpayer at that, and further deepening my sense of nationalism, I've really come to realize that politics shouldn't just be a topic of conversation reserved for just a few of us, but rather a necessity for everyone, that we're...
The music behind is very distracting. It's too loud.
Not only aware of, but also understand and then partake in it as citizens of a democratic society. Now, I'm not speaking out as an authority on the subject of economics, leadership, or politics. Not at all. I am merely a Filipino wanting to make the best vote for the future of my country.
Filipino!
But I also acknowledge that I'm a Filipino with a platform, and with that, I feel a sense of responsibility. You know, it's my hope that through sharing how I was able to equip myself, I can then in turn hopefully help equip you for the upcoming elections. I have come to a decision of who I believe deserves my vote, and towards the end of this video, I'll share that point of view. But sharing my stance isn't the aim of this video.
No?
The aim of this video is to share the qualities that I feel make a good leader. And it's actually these qualities that made up the very basis of how I arrived at my own decision, and hopefully are qualities that can also guide you when researching for yourself who your vote is for.
Salamat!
Well, firstly, thank you. Thank you so much for registering to vote, for having the intention of taking part in the process of electing our leaders. Thank you for taking part in our history. So where do we start? The answer is research, but sadly, the reality for many of our kababayans or countrymen is lack of access to resources. Because when you think about it, the most accessible resources of information are the unmonitored platforms of social media, which can be great open community spaces, but are also known to be huge perpetuators of false narratives and unchecked news. Because when you think about it, who polices social media? So where does that leave us? Well, unfortunately, there is no quick or instant way to know all about our candidates. It takes intentional time and a lot of discernment.
Yup. And that's time that I personally don't have. I would gladly do some more research about, the candidates that are trying to become president, right? But first of all, I'm not Filipino, even though you guys welcome me as Filipino by heart, and I really, really do appreciate that. And I feel like I've already given a lot of my time by just reacting to so many debates and interviews, and even watching a full documentary and giving my opinion about that documentary, But, I can't do everything. And I try to remain very, not to take a stance, just like she said, right? Because I'm not a part of this, really. But I just give you my opinion, and my thoughts. And that's all I can do, really.
From my personal research, I found it really helpful to read and cross-reference different sources and materials, always trying to make a conscientious effort to check list.
Conscientious effort? I've never heard that word before, conscientious. Okay. Is it like a mix of two words? Conscience and something else?
References and or bibliographies, and yes, I understand that access to these resources, these websites, these materials are in itself a privilege. And to bridge that gap.
Which is crazy to think. Like, if nowadays it is a privilege to have access to these websites that she's talking about, on the internet, that you can just, if you think about it, just Google, right? And you can find them. It's crazy to think, like, how did they manage to learn about the candidates like 20 years ago, 40 years ago? At some point it was on the news, like on TV, when the internet didn't exist. So that's all you had to inform yourself: TV, radio, and the newspapers, right? And I guess some books. But imagine, like, I don't know, a century ago, how in the world did they do it, There were just news and radio, and then before that, what? Just the word of mouth? It's crazy. So I feel like we need to feel privileged nowadays because of the fact that we can actually just go on the internet, if we're clever enough and we know what we're looking for, type in the words that will eventually give us what we're looking for,
Those of us with access to these resources need to continue finding ways to get the information into the hands of those who don't. Because everyone deserves the opportunity to make up their own opinions based on facts. So don't worry, you're not alone.
The 5 qualities of a leader. I feel like this is like some type of blueprint of how to look for the right information and what to look for. Meaning, what are the qualities of a leader? What qualities are you supposed to be looking for?
I'm going to share 5 qualities that I have determined to be important to look for in a leader.
According to her.
During election periods, electoral campaigns will always present the best version of the candidate to the public.
Yeah.
But these 5 qualities speak a lot to the capabilities, character, and values of an individual. Qualities that I feel define someone as a human being.
I wanna trust her because she went through this, in her own way. She was a leader, of people because of the title that she got in 2018, I think, of Miss Universe, Millions of people were following her, millions of people were behind her, and still are. So, she developed leadership qualities. And so I feel like she is in a good position to actually inform people about leadership qualities.
Along with their professional capability. A president is a job, but it's the person that makes the title. So what is the character and capability of the person that we are choosing to lead us? Well, I feel that it's these 5 qualities that reveal exactly that.
Qualified. Hey, I always finish my videos by saying, may the most qualified candidate win. And when I say qualified, I don't just mean professionally, as in, you know, in their career or the diplomas that they have. No, I mean an all-around qualified, and like as in their personality and how they deal with the people, you know, all of that.
So the first one is qualified. What is this person's background? This could be their educational attainment and or employment history. And it also goes to say that, you know, having many degrees or holding many different positions within an organization or government body, etc., doesn't automatically make for the best leader, but it can be a great indicator of an individual's experience and knowledge that they can bring to the table.
Exactly.
Which could be a huge asset to a leader.
Yep.
If being a leader was a job application, would this person have the experience, the skill set, and knowledge needed for this role?
I like the way she's doing this.
Number 2 is history. How have they stewarded or utilized positions of leadership in the past? We can look at what achievements and developments they were able to achieve, if any, and what do their previous positions reveal about their experience?
How do people talk about them?
Views and skill sets. Another interesting thing to note is, how do their colleagues and peers speak of them?
There you go!
Respect them. Also, in their time in leadership, were they able to create a ripple of change or a lasting impact overall?
There you go.
If any. Just a small story as well. When I was working in South Africa last year, during filming, I discovered that the sound guy was actually one of the executive producers of the show. And this made me really curious, and I asked him, why are you doing sound when you're an executive producer?
He wants to be implicated in everything that he does. You know, he wants to put himself in, I guess, the people that he hires' shoes.
And he said something to me that I'll never forget. He said, I need to know and understand how to do the jobs of the people under my command if I'm to be in an executive position as their leader.
Yep, absolutely.
And that really stuck with me.
Yep.
So it's also something great to keep in mind when thinking about a candidate's history.
Very nice.
The third is service. A leader, especially one in government, is, I believe, at their essence a public servant, meaning that this leader is not above us, they are equal to us, petitioning for us and working for our best interests. The good thing to look out for also in this category is, when have they been of...
And I feel like that's what you guys really liked about Duterte, is the fact that he felt like he was not above you, like he was just like any other Filipino, you know, and that you could call him anytime and he would answer, and you would feel like you're talking to your dad or your uncle or something like that, you know. And that's what you guys really like, I think, about that president. One of the things. Hey, I didn't see you there. Well, now that you're here, why don't you celebrate for making it this far into this video by subscribing to the channel, by turning on that notification bell so that you don't miss any future videos, and of course, and the most important thing, to like this video because it does help out the channel tremendously. And now, if you don't mind, I'm gonna go back to my business.
Service to the community when it wasn't convenient or for personal gain. You could also look at the programs that they are promising to pursue as president. How do they work towards that vision with the positions that they held in the past? You know, if an individual, I believe, really has the heart to serve, they will not depend on a title or a position. If that duty to serve is really in their hearts, they will utilize any position that they're in to serve. The fourth is platform. What are their plans and vision for our nation? And then going on from there, what actions have they already taken that exemplify this, or how have they already set these plans in motion?
I feel like she's a little bit repeating herself with this one.
They've been consistent in both their messaging and actions. Because, we all know that the election period is a period of promises. And even though we will never have a guarantee that everything that is being promised to us will materialize,
I mean, you just have to look at history. It never does. Most of it never does. I mean, some of it does, but a lot of it never does. It's just a way for them to get to the presidential seat, all right? I mean, it's also kind of normal because things take time, okay? And if they're a president for like 5 years or maybe 6 years, I think, in the case of the Philippines, in 6 years, you cannot, do everything that you said you were going to do while running for the presidential seat. You know what I mean?
It's really insightful to look at how have they already planted the seeds of that vision within their own positions that they've held in the past or very recently.
Values, very important, very important.
And finally, the last quality is values. How has this individual stood on issues?
She is clearly reading everything that she is saying. I mean, she may be freestyling from time to time, but I can tell that her eyes are reading,
Issues in the past. This could either be in relation to governance, national issues, social issues, etc. And what does that reveal about their personal values, beliefs, and going on from there, how does that relate to your own? This is something that really guided me because when I look back through research on how some of our candidates have stood on certain issues, they didn't necessarily align with my own. And so I was able to then orientate myself towards someone whom I'm most aligned with. Also, an important aspect that falls under this category of values is what is their attitude towards being held accountable? How do they handle different issues when they're thrown at them? Are they evasive or do they show up? Are they willing to listen or do they ignore? So these 5 qualities: qualified, history, service, platform, and values. These are great places to start, but also great places or points of comparison when researching or learning more about each and every candidate who is running for president, vice president, other government positions, or even other positions of leadership.
Message of encouragement.
I just wanted to take the time as well to give a small message of encouragement. If you're sitting there and you're overwhelmed or maybe even undecided on where your vote lies, that's completely fine. You still have time. Just take the intentional time to research, to learn, to listen, and then to think for yourself. Your vote is your own and no one else's, and I encourage you to align with the candidate that you feel is the best for the Philippines. There is power.
See, she didn't say the best for you. She said the best for the Philippines, as in think for the nation or think as a nation.
In the single vote. Never allow anyone to make you believe otherwise. Now I'm going to share my personal stance. But before that, I just want to say thank you for spending this time with me.
Good. I honestly did not think that she would share her personal stance. Oh my gosh, okay.
And being open. Hopefully you've learned something or taken away something from this to allow you to feel more equipped for this coming May 9th. To those of you like me who have access to various sources of information, let's not shy away from sharing it and talking about it, inviting others into an exchange of thoughts.
Yeah,
we need to normalize
exchange.
Talk around politics and create more safe spaces to do so. Some of you may be thinking, well, Kat, why speak up only now about the Philippine 2022 elections? Well, I guess I just had this hesitancy that I didn't just want to express.
Did someone just sneeze? Let's see. I heard a sneeze.
Yes, I just had now about the Philippine 2022 elections. Well, I guess I just had this hesitancy that I didn't just want to express a stance without an explanation or without an effort to educate you guys because, at the end of the day, I've always wanted to empower my audience to be a thinking one. I want you guys to vote for who you think you should vote for, not because your favorite artista or public figure or beauty queen is voting for someone.
Exactly.
But
don't let people influence you, man. That's what basically she's saying. Don't let people influence you. Do your own research and think for yourself.
it's my hopes that by sharing whom I'm voting for after, doing my own research and, looking at those 5 qualities, that whether you agree or disagree with my stance, it'll serve as an invitation to learn more for yourselves and to hopefully further develop any stances that you may already have.
Very well said.
A long-serving public servant, effective legislator authoring 79 laws, and active advocate for the agricultural sector, education, and national welfare. My vote for vice president is Kiko Pangilinan. And my choice...
Kiko Pangilinan, meaning that her president would be Leni Robredo, right? Yeah, because if she had said Sarah, it would be BBM.
Choice for president is Leni Robredo.
There you go.
She's the only candidate with experience in all 3 branches of our government. Judiciary as a volunteer lawyer, legislative as a congresswoman, and executive as a vice president. The pandemic was such a huge indicator of the capabilities of those in leadership, and I believe that one of the most competent responses during the global pandemic was that under the stewardship of her office of the vice president. One which has actually reflected the highest audit rating from the Commission on Audit 3 consecutive years in a row. So there's transparency there, and I really appreciate that. I also personally align for what she stands for: education, poverty reduction, women empowerment, amongst others, which, when I researched, are not just promises for her presidential campaign, but actual existing programs like the Angat Buhay program, which has been extending assistance to over 600,000 marginalized Filipino families through providing basic needs, food security, universal health care, public education, as well as providing rural development, housing, along with youth and women empowerment for 6...
I just really, really do hope that she is doing this because she truly believes in Leni Robredo. And I think that's the case. I don't want there to be monetization behind, these type of videos.
6 years and counting. I appreciate how respectful she is to others and how she's willing to listen. And above all else, of all the candidates, she's the only one who gives me hope for change for the future that I wish to see for my country. That's where I stand. But you know what? If our views differ, I respect that. We should always open ourselves up to and try our best to normalize political conversations, because at the end of the day, I believe no matter who your vote stands with, each and every one of us, every Filipino wants the same thing: a better future, a cleaner government, better and equal opportunities, and a better quality and security.
Cleaner government, no corruption. That's basically what Leni Robredo is after. Like, she mentioned corruption so often during her interviews and debates.
Security of life for all. It's merely just my hope that you take the time to research and make an informed decision. The power lies with you. See you on May 9th, Pilipinas.
May 9th! Oh my goodness, very soon, very, very soon. Right after my birthday. Woohoo! Well. I liked it. I liked the way she spoke. I liked her calm demeanor. You just feel... you feel hopeful while watching her video. Not one, because of the way she speaks, because of her calm demeanor, because of how articulate she is, but also because of the music that she chose to put in the background. It was a little too loud, in my opinion, but it gives you hope, you know what I mean? I honestly did not think that she would actually share with her people, with her followers, the person that she'll be voting for, but she did, Leni Robredo. So now we know. For the former Miss Universe, CATRIONA GRAY is for Leni Robredo. Just like Catarina Velarde and Burakel, for example, are for Bongbong Marcos. I mean, I saw that Catarina Velarde performed for Bongbong Marcos during a rally. I did not watch any video, but you guys sent me a bunch of DMs telling me that she was for them and that she lost a bunch of followers because of that. That is so dumb. That is so dumb, okay? It's not because you disagree on some subjects that you have to unfollow a person, you know? You still like the person for what they really do, you know? Like, I'm pretty sure that the people who followed Catarina Velarde in the first place is for her music, is for her vocals, you know, for the way she sings. So, I don't know, I just think it's ridiculous. But yeah. It's interesting to see all these celebrities and what they think about the political landscape in the Philippines and who they will vote for and why they appreciate this candidate over the other candidate. But in the end, just like she said, remember one thing, is that in the end, I don't know if it really matters because we all, well, not we, but you all want one thing. I mean, I can include myself in it. I also want that for you guys. You just want a better Philippines. Just a country that's stronger. That's it. You know, on all fronts. So whether it be Leni Robredo or Bongbong Marcos or any other candidates, hopefully they will serve the Philippines the best way they can. You know? That's it. That's it. But honestly, oh man, I don't know if she actually, I felt like she had already written all of this because it was meticulously done. The words that she chose were very selective, you know? I felt like it was written beforehand. And it makes sense because she was preaching about research, right? So I'm pretty sure she did her research, she wrote the best speech that she could, and then she presented it to the camera, to you guys. But she's experienced. This is not the first time that she's done this. So she is used to public speaking. And that's why it doesn't really feel like she had prepared a speech. But I'm pretty sure she did. She knows how to make it organic. How to make it, you know, just natural, you know. That's what I love about her, man. She is the total package. She is charming. She's beautiful. She speaks really well. She seems very well educated, you know? Wow. Wow. Anyway, guys, I hope that you guys enjoyed this reaction video. Let me know in the comment section below if you agree with what she said and the qualities that you should be looking for in a leader. Maraming salamat po. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care of yourselves, have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace. Thank you for watching. Subscribe here and please like the video to show your support and appreciation for my work, and turn on the notification bell to be poked for future content. Yeah.